Hello and welcome back, my incredible AP Insight family. Abby Phillip here. The Green Party is celebrating what they're calling a game-changing triumph in the Gorton and Denton by-election, right in the heart of Greater Manchester. This result has landed like a thunderclap on Downing Street, ratcheting up the heat on the Prime Minister in ways few saw coming. The returning officer stepped forward with the official declaration. Hannah Catherine Spencer has been duly elected as the Member of Parliament for Gorton and Denton. This marks a genuine milestone, the Green Party's very first success in a Westminster by-election. Hannah Spencer pulled in close to 15,000 votes, claiming roughly 41% of the total cast. Reform UK secured second place, while Labour, holding this area unbroken for nearly a century, slipped to third. The Conservatives? They posted their poorest showing in any by-election on record. Now let's hear directly from the new MP in her moment of victory. Hannah Spencer took the stage and spoke with raw conviction. She said she never set out to chase a career in politics. By trade, she's a plumber. Just 2 weeks back, amid the whirlwind of the campaign, she completed her qualifications as a plasterer, too. Even when everything's coming at you fast, she gets the job finished. No excuses. She insisted she's no different from anyone else standing there in the constituency. Hard work defines her, just as it defines so many here. That's the backbone of this place. But something fundamental has shifted over recent decades. There was a time when putting in the hours meant real rewards, a home of your own, a solid standard of living, the chance for a getaway now and then. It built a future. Ask around today, though, and the story changes. People grind away but still struggle to stock the fridge, kid out their children for school, keep the house warm through winter, or rely on the pension they built up through decades of effort. The very idea of a holiday feels out of reach for good. The promise has been broken. Hard work no longer delivers a decent life. Instead, that effort funnels upward, filling the coffers of the ultra-wealthy. We're getting squeezed harder every year. Is it really so outrageous to demand that honest labor should still buy a comfortable existence? Hannah Spencer doesn't think so, and neither do the voters who backed her. In the hours since the count, Green Party figures faced the press alongside supporters. Co-leader Zach Polanski didn't hold back. He argued this breakthrough shatters the myth of no-go zones for his party. Labour's iron grip on certain seats? Finished. This shakes British politics to its foundations. Why? Because voters are waking up to real choices beyond the old options. Hannah Spencer and her campaign delivered a razor-sharp message: slash household bills, safeguard the NHS, and rebuild crumbling public services. That clarity cut through. Prime Minister Keir Starmer faced the cameras too, describing the outcome as deeply disappointing for his party. He acknowledged the reality head-on. Governments often take hits like this during the midterm phase, he noted. Still, he gets why people feel let down. They're hungry for progress and running out of patience. He entered politics later in life precisely to deliver that change for those who need it most. An NHS that actually functions, timely doctor's visits, enough cash to cover bills, and the shot at a better quality of life. He pledged to go on battling for those priorities as long as he draws breath. At the same time, he drew a firm line against political extremes, on the right and the left, insisting those forces aim to rip the country apart. Only Labour, he maintained, can bridge divides, pull communities together, and stand up for shared British values against those pulling in opposite directions. But the questions keep coming thick and fast. Losing a seat so soon after a commanding general election win? That's not routine. Voters appear fed up. Efforts to court reform-leaning supporters backfired. The left looks fractured. Key demographics, including Muslim voters, have drifted away. Now the Greens have shown they can mount a serious challenge. Does this spell trouble ahead for Labour, perhaps mirroring the long decline once suffered by the Conservatives? What adjustments are coming? Because the Prime Minister's response didn't exactly signal a sharp pivot. Starmer pushed back firmly. Labour entered government to transform lives for millions. That remains the core mission. They've already delivered the Renters' Rights Act, restoring protections absent for a generation. They've enacted stronger employment rights for workers. They've poured resources into the NHS to chip away at waiting lists. They've boosted pay for the lowest earners and opened doors for families. Spotting problems is straightforward, he said. Any opposition can do that. The real test lies in fixing them, steering the nation forward, and improving everyday lives. That's the mandate voters gave, and that's where his focus stays locked. To dig deeper into what this means, we turn to Jerry Scott, assistant political editor at The Times. This stands out as a major statement win for the Greens. By-elections get dismissed sometimes as sideshows, disconnected from the bigger picture. But what's your take on why this one hits differently? Jerry Scott laid it out plainly. Yes, this isn't a nationwide contest. It's one isolated seat. Yet the scale of Labor's reversal here feels enormous. They didn't just lose, they dropped to third, overtaken by both Greens and Reform. That's a nightmare scenario for the party leadership. Labor had framed this as a head-to-head against Reform. That framing collapsed spectacularly. Some Labor voices this morning floated the idea that Mayor Andy Burnham, if allowed to run, might have held the seat. True or not, the fact remains, blocking him raises sharp questions about the Prime Minister's instincts. This feeds into a string of recent judgments under scrutiny, issues around appointments, communication strategy, and now this candidate veto. Critics will say the leadership sacrificed a winnable seat to shield the top job from a potential rival. Burnham would have carried anti-Starmer energy while staying inside the tent. The current candidate couldn't match that draw, so the damage piles up, accusations of self-preservation over party interest. How long can this hold? Restless elements already eye the leadership. Party insiders see change as inevitable, just a question of timing. The upcoming May local elections loom large. This by-election won't rewrite everything overnight. No dramatic nationwide shift expected. But it hardens existing doubts about the leader. Come May, though, excuses vanish. Those will be proper local polls across England, plus contests in Scotland and Wales, real tests of strength. That's when challengers might strike if results turn ugly. Does this signal a deeper rewrite of British politics, moving away from the old two-party lockstep? Jerry Scott sees signs pointing that way. Reform didn't take the seat, but grabbing 29% in a Labour fortress dating back to 1931. That's explosive for them. The Greens, meanwhile, have demonstrated they can pull progressive voters who once defaulted to Labour. For years, Labour banked on being the default home for left-leaning voters, even when unpopular. No longer. The Conservatives barely registered here, as anticipated. But the battlefield has widened. Labour now faces threats from both flanks, Greens siphoning the left, Reform chipping at the right, trying to fend off both while keeping everyone happy. That's proving impossible, and results like this expose the strain. Jerry Scott, thank you for that sharp breakdown. Joining us in the studio now is Luke Sullivan, who served as Keir Starmer's Director of Politics from 2021 to 2024, and now works at Headland Consultancy. This is a serious setback for Labour, no way around it. What went wrong here? Luke didn't mince words, no glossing over. This outcome stings badly. Heidi Alexander, a government minister, called it deeply disappointing this morning, and the Prime Minister echoed that. Midterm governments expect rough patches in by-elections, sure, but the deeper worry is Labour's current polling position and what this reveals long-term. The May elections, effectively nationwide in scope across cities and towns, will loom enormous. No midterm label to hide behind there. Does Labour need a course correction? Voters keep saying they feel ignored. If change comes, which way does the party turn? Luke sees intense debate ahead inside Labour circles. Everyone will push their interpretation of the lesson. He pointed to Hannah Spencer's early morning victory remarks. She laid out a diagnosis of national problems that could come from almost any party. People feel abandoned, costs crushing, services failing. The public voted Labour in for change. The Prime Minister knows it will take time to show results. The question is whether voters grant him that runway. These past weeks have been punishing for Starmer. If May delivers more of the same, can he survive as leader? Luke is clear. Starmer can carry on. He has the determination. But will his party let him? 3 weeks ago, as Ed Miliband framed it, Labour peered over the edge and chose not to jump. Right now, the deadlock persists. Starmer sounded resolute in his comments. He believes he's the right person for the job. Unless a serious move emerges to break that stalemate, he stays put and pushes forward. Labour's vote is bleeding in multiple directions, toward Reform on one side, Greens and Lib Dems on the other. How do you reposition a party getting squeezed from both ends without alienating core supporters? Luke sees that as the central tension. Voices pull left, others pull right. His own view, Labour's 2024 win came from the center. offering a bold yet practical vision for progress. The British public is exhausted with the status quo. Politicians across the board recognize that. Labour in power holds the levers. 3 years remain until the next general election. Delivery is everything. The stakes couldn't be higher. By-elections often flash warnings that were already visible. Labour's 2024 landslide masked fractures in their coalition. Look at Bristol Central, taken by Greens then. Leicester South, lost to an independent over Gaza concerns. Those cracks were there. This by-election simply magnified them, showing how parts of Labour's base are slipping away.